You know when you see a dish and you just know it's going to be delicious? Or you glance at someone and think, wow, they look busy. Well, how do you say that in Japanese? There's a fantastic piece of grammar for expressing exactly that, your first impression, based just on what you can see. Let's dive in. Okay, take a look at this sentence right here. It says, this cake looks sweet. Now, you might know the word for sweet is amai, or amai. So, where did this amaso come from? That little change is the key, and that's exactly what we're going to break down.
So, we're jumping into the grammar you need to talk about appearances. This is all about how things seem to you, based on a quick look. It's one of those things that'll make your Japanese sound way more natural in everyday chats. The magic phrase is so this or so this. You tack this onto adjectives, and it basically means it looks like or it seems like. But here's the most important part. This is only for your guess based on what you see. You haven't actually tasted that cake, you've just looked at it and made a judgment. That's what this is for.
Now, you can't just slap so this onto any old adjective. There's a tiny bit of work to do first. You see, Japanese has two main kinds of adjectives. We call them i-adjectives and na-adjectives. And the rules for connecting them are just a little bit different for each one. This chart is basically our game plan. We've got 4 patterns to cover, the positive and negative versions for both i-adjectives and na-adjectives. I know it might look like a lot at first glance, but trust me, each rule is super simple once you see it in action.
All right, let's kick things off with the most common one, making a positive statement with an i-adjective. We're talking about words that end in that I sound, like oishi for delicious or takai for expensive. The rule here is a piece of cake.
So check this out. It's a simple 3-step process. You take your adjective, in this case, oishi, then you just chop off that final e. And finally, you stick so des on the end. Bam. Oishi so desu. It looks delicious. See? Super straightforward. But what if something doesn't look a certain way? Like what if a test doesn't look hard? For that, we need the negative form. The standard negative for an adjective ends in kunai, kunai. So muzukashikunai means not difficult. Let's see how we make that doesn't look difficult. Okay, pay close attention to this one. The entire kunai ending just gets swapped out. It's replaced by kunasaso desu. So a problem that you know for a fact is not difficult, muzukarashikunai, becomes one that just doesn't look difficult. Muzukarashikunasaso desu. It's a clean swap.
All right, let's move on to our other type of adjective, the na-adjectives. These are words like genkina for healthy or lively, or shizukana for quiet. And I've got good news for you. Making a positive statement with these is even easier than what we just did.
Seriously, this is as simple as it gets. You take the main part of the adjective, which just means you drop the na at the end, and then you add so desu. So genkina becomes genki so desu. You see someone and think, hey, they look well, or they seem really energetic. And for our 4th and final rule, let's cover the negative form for these na-adjectives. The normal negative ends in dewanai. So, genki dewanai means someone is not well. To say someone doesn't look well, we're going to do another one of those ending swaps, just like before.
Yep, just like with the negative i-adjectives, this is all about replacement. That whole dewanai ending gets switched out for dewanasaso desu. So, to say someone doesn't look well, based on your observation, you'd change genki dewanai to genki dewanasaso desu.
Okay, we've made it through the 4 main rules. Now, the best way to really get these to stick in your brain is to see them used in real sentences. Let's look at how this grammar helps us describe the world around us. Here we go, our first rule in the wild. The adjective for expensive is takai. So we drop the e and add so desu to get takaso desu. You see a fancy bag in a shop window, and just based on how it looks, you're guessing, wow, that bag looks expensive. Next up, a positive na adjective. We start with genkina. Drop that na and pop on so desu to get genki so desu. Maybe you see a friend you haven't seen in a while, and your first thought is, oh, she looks well. And now for a negative example. The base adjective is muzukashi for difficult. The negative is muzukashikunai. We just swap that kunai ending to get muzukashikunasaso desu. You flip open a textbook, glance at a problem, and think, this doesn't look too bad. And for our last one, let's say a shop is not quiet. You'd say, その店は静かではない. But what if you're just walking by and you see a huge, noisy crowd inside? You can say it doesn't look quiet by changing that ではなさ to ではなさそうです. Perfect.
And there you have it. 4 pretty simple rules for saying what you think based on a first impression. Let's just do a super quick review of the main points.
So here's the bottom line. First, remember that so this is for visual guesses, not facts. For positive statements, you're pretty much just dropping the last letter of the adjective and adding so this. And for the negative ones, you're just swapping out the entire negative ending. That's really the whole thing.
Okay, so let's use this right now. Don't wait. Just look around the room you're in. Find something, anything. Does anything look expensive? If so, try to say it out loud. これは高そうです. The moment you start actually using this to describe things you see, that's when it'll really stick.